Australian tourist visas from the Philippines for Filipino relatives. Now, we've written many articles about tourist visa applications from the Philippines before, but this one is specifically about tourist visas for Filipino relatives who wish to visit. Now, I've written about high-risk tourist visa applications before, where I've covered some of these points, and yes, this is the category that these visas generally fall into. Now, getting an Australian tourist visa from the Philippines for Filipino relatives is high risk, and it's hard work to see them turn into visa grants. Australian tourist visas for Filipino relatives. Now, many Filipinos at some stage wish to bring their relatives to Australia on tourist visas from the Philippines. Now, some have plans and wishes for them to stay longer or even permanently, which is another story. I hope I've done enough blog articles here to explain that generic family visas do not exist. You cannot petition your cousin or sister to Australia simply because you have a partner visa. Permanent residency, or PR as it's often called, is not something you are entitled to offer to anybody. But back to tourist visas for Filipino relatives. Yes, it's natural enough to want to bring a relative from the Philippines because you miss each other. Of course, you want to give them a treat to show them what a great life you're now leading. Maybe you have babies you want to show off, as well as a new home and a happy life with your Australian man. And yes, we can and do help with these types of visas. The issue, though, is that we really hate visa refusals, and we hate to see clients disappointed. And I will not kid anyone and say that it's really easy for Down Under Visa to get a tourist visa for your relative from the Philippines. It's not easy for us, and it's not easy for anybody. Risks, they're variable. Even in the best case scenario, a positive outcome will never be as likely as it will when we have a romantic Australian couple who are building a relationship and want the visa to enhance their relationship. So why do Australian tourist visas from the Philippines get refused? Now, with all tourist visa applications, the migration regulations require that the visa applicant has A, a genuine reason to visit Australia, and B, a strong enough reason and incentive to return to the Philippines at the end of the stay. If they're not convinced of both of these, they will refuse the tourist visa application. And how do you convince them of this? Knowledge and experience. Now, why are tourist visa applications from the Philippines for Australian Filipino couples generally more successful? Because when they can see a couple are building a relationship together, want her to visit to meet mum and dad, the friends, and see how he lives with a view to a future marriage and a future partner visa, well, then they can see they're far less likely to do the wrong thing. So why would somebody's fiance from the Philippines want to wreck everything and run off so she could pick fruit illegally in Mildura? Not likely. So you see, genuine reason to visit, tick. Incentive to return at the end, tick. But you consider 27-year-old sister wanting to visit her sister in Australia who just had her visa granted. The sister just finished a stint as an overseas Filipino worker in Dubai when her contract finished. No job, no house, no kids, maybe 5-year-old daughter who lived with grandma in the Philippines while she was working in Dubai, so the child is used to being away from mum. The department will have to make a decision whether this visa applicant is actually going there for a holiday, or whether at the end they'll be happy to hop back on the plane and go back to whatever life they came from. Or will they, most likely with the assistance of Australian relatives, try to overstay in Australia and to breach the tourist visa conditions? Are they likely to become an unlawful non-citizen, illegal alien as they're called in America, and become a burden to the taxpayer trying to locate and remove from Australia? And for how many years could they get away with earning tax-free money in Australia and sending it back to the family in the Philippines? Oh, an Australian tourist visa from the Philippines for family. Right now you may be saying that this would never happen with Mari Bell's sister Mari Vic, so why can't we just assure them that she's a nice young lady and give them our word that she'll be back on the plane home within 3 months? Because Filipinos love their families and there are many who will do anything at all to help them out, including lying. So life turned out very well for them and they have a great life with you in Australia. Many feel guilty that they can't share their good fortune with their family members. Some may also have parents and aunties, etc., pushing them to do something to help out their sister or whoever the relative is. Now the point is that while you may well have the very best of intentions yourselves, not everyone does. And laws and rules are put in place not based on what good people do, but what the naughty people do, and to prevent it happening more often. And trust me, there are plenty of naughty people who break the rules every day. Now I get emails from clients who I've got partner visas before. They ask if I can get a work visa for their relative. And when I tell them that the relative has no skills or a profession, and that they have no hope, they then ask me about a tourist visa for them. So what does that tell you? Well, it tells me they don't intend the relative to return. So how do you get that guaranteed tourist visa from the Philippines for the Filipino relative? You can down on the visa, pull the right levers and press the right buttons to make it happen? The answer is that the more stable the visa applicant and the stronger the reason for them to visit, the better the case. Now, a 48-year-old mum visiting a new grandchild is a much stronger case than the 23-year-old cousin wanting a holiday since she graduated college. 34-year-old sister wanting a 1-month stay to be a matron of honour at your wedding before returning to her job as an accountant and her husband and 3 kids is going to have a much better chance than your 26-year-old unemployed single brother who wants a 1-year visa to experience the beautiful scenery. Always a risk of refusal, but sometimes more or less so. Rest assured, we will tell you honestly. Thank you.